Hello guys, you're welcome back to Mage Fates. Here we learn tips, tricks and techniques of making beautiful and wonderful outfits. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to drape and cut an A-shaped skirt using slash and spread method, and also how to eliminate dark lines from your skirt back block. It will also show you how to form a long train on your skirt center back. So for the corset top of this dress, I already have a detailed tutorial on it, so you can go check my channel on that. So guys, if this is something you'd like to learn, then watch this video till the end. Please guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful. Also, let me know your thoughts on this video. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell for more updates. At this point, let's get straight into the tutorial. So first thing I am going to do is to fold my pattern paper in two. So I'm going to be drafting on this a basic skirt block, that is a long straight skirt. I folded it in two because one side is going to have some pleatings on it to form the drapes. So here I am marking my start line, which is my waistline. The next line I'm going to mark here will be my hip line. And for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm marking out 9 inches. So here I have the knee line, that is the waist to knee line, which is 18 inches. I'm going to roll out this line straight and then I'll label them. So I'll label the first one my hip line and then my knee line. So the next thing I'm going to do here is to take my body measurement. So I'll take my body measurement for my waistline, also do the same thing for my hip line and then my knee line. So I'm going to connect these 3 points together to form a very nice curve. And the next thing I'm going to do is impute my knee line measurement on my full skirt length. Mind you, my pattern paper is not up to my full length, so I'll be extending the measurement on my main fabric. What I did there was to impute my knee line measurement all the way down to have a straight line. Now that we have crossed the first step, I'll cut this piece out. I have my front skirt block set and this is how it looks like. I'm just going to open it up and then extend these lines to the other side to have a better guide. As you can see, my front pattern doesn't have any dart lines. I decided to cut it to my exact measurement. Now the next thing I'm going to do here is to rule out slash lines from my waistline to my hip line. So I'm going to measure out from my waistline to my hip line, and whatever I have there, I'm going to divide it equally, then rule out my slash lines. On my pattern paper, I have 9 inches from my waistline to my hip line. So I'm going to use 2 inches spacing to create the slash lines. As you can see, that is just what I'm ruling out here. So I'm going to use my scissors to cut in these lines to the other side of my hip line. I'll cut to the other side of my paper but not through it. This is because I only want to have my pleatings on one side of my pattern paper, which is the side I'm dividing in bits, so that the other side will still look straight without any pleats. But if you want to have pleats on both sides of your hip line, then just cut through the lines and divide all these pieces from each other. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to take my slashed pattern paper and spread it on another fresh plain paper, or you can decide to just take a piece of paper and place it underneath the part that has been slashed, enough to cover up for the volume of pleats that you would want to use, or the volume of pleats that you would prefer. This now depends on your choice of how big or small you want your pleats. Do you want it in 1 inch, 2 inches, or even 3 inches? So that now depends on you, and whatever choice you make sure to extend your paper to that side. So here I'm using about 2 inches spacing. So after doing that, you just have to trace out your new hip line starting from your waistline to the end of the slash lines. So like I said earlier, if you want the pleats on the both sides of the hip lines, then you would have to divide and separate each of these pieces from each other and then place it on another paper, then cut to the size of pleats that you would want. So here I have my pattern set for my front piece, and I have about 4 slashed spaces to create my front drapes. Now the next step I'm going to take here is to slash open my knee line to create the A shape. To do that, I'll fold back my pattern paper in two like I did before, and then measure out what I have on my knee line, because I'm going to be slashing open from my full length to my knee line. So what I'm going to do next is to take my tape rule, then take my knee measurement as it's folded in two, and go ahead to mark the midpoint. I'll do this on the knee line and through down to the full length, then create a straight line to mark it equal. So I'm going to divide this piece from the full length to the knee length. From that point, open it up to the side knee line. So I'll cut it just the way I slashed open the hip line and the waistline to the other side of the hip line. So instead of me placing this on another paper to cut it out, I'll just take it and place it on my main fabric and open it up to the length or the volume I want for my A line. When I do that, I'll make sure to include my seam allowances on the parts that they need to be added to. So I'll take this away to now cut my back pattern, and then we'll move ahead from there. Now I have another paper set for my back skirt block, and this is my zipper allowance. So first, let's create the waist to knee arching for the center back. So I'm going to measure out 1 inch on my waistline, and for my hip line I would measure out 2 inches, while on my knee line I would measure 1 inch. So you can see the arc or the curve it's creating on the center back. So this is to give it that very nice fitting you see on your skirt center back. Here now I'm going to include my dart line of 1 inch, and I'll roll it straight into my hip line. I'll just go ahead to cut out this back block before I start to make any alteration on my pattern paper. So I have my back block out. I'm going to start to make alterations just like I did for the front block, where I divided the knee line in two to create a straight line and also a middle point. I'm going to do the same thing for the back block, but the difference here is that I'll create a long train for the center back. So like I did for the front, I'll divide this line to the knee line and then open up the knee line to the side knee line. But for this center back, I would open the knee line up to both sides, just like you can see me do here. This first part is the side seam, and then the next one is the center back. You can see how I opened the center back up close to the end of the paper. Then I'm going to open this up properly on my main fabric. I will make sure I open it up to the volume I want it to be, especially for my center back, to create how long and wide I want my train to be. You know, when you see some skirts without back dart sitting pretty well on the butt area without any gapping, it's because that elimination was done on the back pattern. So to do that, we're going to be eliminating this dart line I created for the back block. So what you need to do here is to first impute your dart measurement, which can also be your nipple to nipple measurement. So I'll start the measurement from my center back and then measure downwards about 5 inches before my hip line. So I'll make that point there, and to be accurate with this, I'll make same measurements on this point, then rule out a straight line. So after doing that, I'll go out by ½ inch on both sides of this line and roll it straight into the 5 inches dart length. So now I'm going to open up one of the dart legs to cover up the other dart leg. That is, opening this up to place it on top the other dart leg, thereby closing or eliminating my back dart. And I'll do this with the help of my masking tape. So you can see just the way I am closing this dart up. And now you can see how very easy this thing is. So please, you can go ahead to follow this step by step. But if you decide not to make use of a pattern paper, preferring to cut directly on your main fabric, then just take the measurement of your actual waistline and the measurement of your actual hip line, and you still arrive at this. But that is best achieved when your fabric is a stretchy one. So I'll be adding my side seam allowance on my main fabric, as I already have my seam allowance by my zipper line. I'll take this away to place on my main fabric and definitely take you guys through the process. So this is it. I've arranged my front pattern on my main fabric. So you see what I did there? I added my side seam allowance, extended my length, and then opened it up to cut to shape. I did just the same thing for my skirt back pattern. And then yeah, check out how nicely I cut out the center back thread. So for the center back, you can decide to extend it as long as you want it to be and then curve it into the side seam. Here, this is how my main fabric looks like, and I will not be holding any dart on my back skirt. So trust me when I say this is just going to come out pretty nice as I have explained earlier. Make sure to take note of the center back different from the side seam because the both of them are curved out. So definitely from your center back train, you should be able to differentiate your side seam. Now let's make the pleats for the front drapes. So I have my draping points marked out according to the slashed lines. I'm just going to pick it out according to how I opened up my slashed lines and then pin them together with my pins. To easily achieve this, just notch the spacing between your slashed lines and then start to pick, fold and pin down. So I went ahead to press down the pleats with my pressing iron, and you can see how it looks like right now with one side not pleated and one side pleated. So from here, the last thing you'll be doing is to stitch together your front and back main fabric and then finish it up however you'd like it. So guys, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also drop your thoughts on what you think about this video. And please, if this is your first time on my channel and you enjoyed what you just watched, then hit on the subscribe button and do well to click on the notification bell for more updates. So guys, now that we have come to the end of this tutorial, I hope you will try out this technique to make your dress look as beautiful as I made mine. So from here, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.